So about halfway between 6 and 6:30, and there was a few people thought maybe it might be 6, and a few thought maybe it might be 6:30. It's actually advertised in most places at 6 o'clock. But anyway, we're going to start, and if anyone comes in that we need to fill in on, we will. We can fill them in. We're proud to have everyone here tonight. And, most everybody here knows John Thorpe, Ben Brown, and Ray Rivers. Not everybody here knows us, but any of you don't, well, that's the 3 commissioners, 2nd District. And we try to represent you all. But we also like for you all to let us know some of the things that you'd like for us maybe to help with, try to help with. And we in turn then do the same thing, try to take these things and get something positive to come out of them. And a lot of times we have to go on to state and all to try to get help from them. And we have 3 other guests here with us tonight, and most people know him, Road Commissioner, and Derek is our school board member, and Pat Marsh, and the reason Ben, John, and myself started these, we call them community meetings, was for just exactly what we said. Our community, anyone is welcome, whether it's the 2nd District or all 7 of the other districts. And we have had a lot of good representation. We've had a lot of commissioners from other districts visit several times. We don't have one with us tonight, but anyway, we're proud of all of you all being here because it does show some interest, and that's what we thought when we started this that we needed, was some input, some interest in our community, and when you're interested in our community, you're also interested in our county. And I don't even need to try to tell anyone about a lot of the things that you already know about economically. Right now we're struggling in the county, city, state, federal government, individually. But we're just hoping these meetings could help everybody, bring some things to light that would help everyone. And we want everybody here tonight to have an opportunity to express your opinion. We cannot do anything whatsoever as far as voting or doing anything to make anything any better. But maybe we can take your ideas and put with them and turn them bad or onto our executive body and get some feedback and get some good things going here in Lincoln County as well as the help Petersburg. Like I say, we want everyone we want everyone to have your input. We also want to ask that you be courtesy to everyone here. A couple, 3 minutes, that way it won't, we won't just get on one subject and just one person get to speak. But feel free to talk, and the things that you thought about you're going to say, well, I know what I'm going to say them. Because we will never know if you don't tell us. And we're not telling you that we can make any difference, but we're hoping that we can. So I've been out in the wind pretty well all day today, and it's not been real good for my throat, so I'm going to let John take over, and if he will. And I think probably he'll want to start. I don't worry when we start. But anyway, it's your day, John.
My greatest, we actually had our first town hall meeting here in Petersburg. It's been a while back, but we always like having these and getting input. And we've had several people couldn't make it tonight because of the weather. Mr. Thayer Robinson, Congressman Desjardins' office, he was coming, he's coming from East Tennessee, so he said he wasn't going to try it. But if you have any questions on the federal level, federal government, anything, you want me to take those down and pass those along, and be happy to get you an answer on those. But Pat, you got anything to say on the state?
Well, we're starting back in session. We started back this past week on January the 8th, and we started on a Tuesday at noon. And we elected Beth Harwell as our Speaker of the House, and in the House, we elected all of our leadership. And then on Thursday of the week, she made the appointments for all the committees and the assignments for all the committees, and then we take a 2-week recess while the committees are put together and they're moving a lot of offices. I found out today that I'm moving my seat on the House floor up. I'm on the very front row, which I don't know why I got that, but I'm on the front row, so I got to pay attention now. And I found out today that we're moving our offices, so I'm going up. I've got a pretty full day tomorrow, but I'm going up to calm my secretary down. She's all torn up about how we're going to move and where we're going to move. So I'm going to go up there tomorrow and sort of let her know it's okay. But we're moving tomorrow. We're starting to move. And I found out Thursday when Beth Harwell made the appointments to the committees that I was put on the Business and Utility Committee, and I was made chairman of that committee, which I was very privileged to be made a chairman. I didn't think I'd receive that, and I did, and so I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to figure it out. Been reading most of today of the Mason's Rule of Order, the Book of Order, and my secretary told me today that she got me a gavel. So I'm getting ready to start, and I'll be learning from scratch, basically. And I'll probably make a lot of mistakes, but after I make them, I guess I won't make them the second time. So it's going to be a very interesting year. It's going to be running those committees is real intense, and it's a lot of important bills come through most of the committees, and I feel like with business and utilities, there'll be a lot of really important things that come through, and I want to make sure that we hear them all correctly, hear them all out, and we make the right decisions before we pass any legislation on to the full House and the Senate. So I'm excited about it, but a little bit apprehensive about it. And we've got 13 committees this year instead of 12. Last year we had the Commerce Committee, and a lot of bills went through there, and she split that up into two. It's the business and utility in one half, and the other half is banking and insurance. So we split the workload up, and I think we'll do a lot better job with that. Found out also that last year I was on the Conservation and Environment Committee, which deals a lot with permits for water lines and sewers and all kinds of things that a lot of us deal in. And they combined agriculture with commerce and utilities, and they're calling it Ag and Natural Resources this year. And I'm on that committee, which I really I'm glad, because we deal with a lot of agricultural farming and trees and hunting and fishing and water runoff and sewer systems and a lot of that. So I think I think I can help out with that, trying to move that along and not being bogged down with a lot of regulations. I'm all for less regulations and more getting on with business, and I'm sure Tim likes to hear that, because anything you do, you have to probably wait for a lot of paperwork and permits and things like that, which I think is necessary, but I think we ought to streamline as much as possible. So we start back Monday night, the 28th, and when we go back at 5 o'clock, the Governor Haslam will present his State of the State address, and he will present his budget for this year, and then we'll be working on the budget for the next 2 or 3, 4 months, trying to make sure that we have enough money to come in to spend on the projects that we need. It'll be about a $30 billion budget, and we don't know what the federal government's going to do, so we have to watch what we do. A lot of the money that we get comes in from the federal government, and I don't know how they can keep spending how they do up there, but as long as they're sending it to us, we got to spend it wisely. And the governor's had a lot of budget hearings, and he's told every department that they need to have a good budget, and they also need to have a second budget which cuts 5% of that budget. So he's getting prepared in case we are cut by the federal government. He's trying to be prepared for that. And so it's going to be very interesting. We get back on 28th, and it'll go really hard until probably around the 1st of May. So if you all have anything you want me to bring up, or if you want to find out anything, I get a lot of requests from a lot of people all the time, and I think I've been very fortunate to get some good answers for our folks. And we've got a lot of great things going in both Bedford and Lincoln County, and we're getting some grants for water lines. I know we got one here in Petersburg, and that'll be starting before long. I think it's right at $200,000 to do the new filtration plant up at the water tower here, what do you call it? Reservoir here. So I'm glad we could get that and get some water lines up in the War Trace, and I know there's talking about some sewer help down in the south of the county and the new industrial park. So got a lot of things working, and we love to have Hamburger Day on the Hill, and a whole lot of people from Lincoln County come up to that, and it's a great day, and I encourage you all to come up to that and let me show you around, or come up anytime and let me know you're coming, and I'll try to show you around and show you how it works. It's basically open to everybody, and I didn't realize that until I got up there. Anybody can come and look around and see what's going on, and you'll believe how they're shaking your head trying to think, well, how in the world do they get anything done? As big a mess as that is. But it is amazing what we do get done. So it's going good, and I appreciate y'all inviting me to come down.
I'm always really proud for you to come, Pat.
Thank you.
Next,
Well, I represent District 2 School Board. I know everybody's thinking about Newtown, and people are concerned about the isolation of community, and it is. Concerned about the lack of cell phone service out there. And I've already mentioned that to Pat. He's going to talk to the Verizon folks tomorrow. I know that's going to be good, but at least we're going to try. Rick Murray was here with the SWAT team has already asked to do a shooter's drill. And that's still in the planning stages, and that's just to go through a pseudo actuality or pseudo happening, so that there's a shooter in the school and what they would do and how they would do it, just to give them the practice in case, God forbid, that might happen in Lincoln County. But it's something you have to look out for, because there's lots of idiots out in the world. We have received a grant. Lincoln County has received a grant from the state for salary. It's not performance. I can't remember what they call it, but it's pointing it in directions that it needs to be pointed to help the children. What they wanted was to base it on performance. And Dr. Shelton said, we're not going to have a competition between our teachers. We work together as a team effort to educate all our children. So we're not going to get people fighting each other to win money. So they're going to set it up where they're having committee meetings by the teachers. And they're going to do surveys among all the teachers. We've got a committee of teachers. They're going to do a survey with the rest of the teachers and say, how do you want to use this money? We're talking, I think it's a 3-year thing, and we're talking $2 or $3 million. So we're not talking chicken feed, especially in this county. That's big bucks in the education system. But just stay tuned. It's called TIF, and don't ask me what TIF stands for. I'm not sure. Look that up. When you hear TIF, that's what they're talking about. It's increasing salary for teachers. So I have questions to come later, I'm sure.
At this time, Pat was talking about some of the grant stuff we get. Last 2 years, we've got some NRCS grants, $520,000, which is federal money. Money's out there. if we don't get it, somebody else gets it. So we applied for it, and we've got the grants. We'll hold up to his permit on some of this stuff. You have to wait a year sometimes to get your permits right. That's things seem to progress slowly, but it takes time to do this stuff. We're trying to get some bridges built right now, but by the time you do all the paperwork, from the time you start a bridge till you finish it, most times it's over a year before you can get them done. So it's permitting paperwork has to go through Nashville, so it's, well, we've been working on it. Seems like it's not moving fast, but we're trying to do as much as we can do right now. Of course, the roads are, this rainy weather like we've been having is hard on the roads right now, so, and I'm sure there's a lot of potholes on these county roads, but there isn't a lot we can do in this rainy weather like this till it gets over with, and we'll try to get them fixed up, but it's just going to take some time.
I forgot to mention, we did have several aldermen in the city of Petersburg, Mr. Pence, Mr. Barber, and Corey. Most of you probably know, glad y'all here. We'll just go around the room, and every time we say something, if you want to, if you don't, that's fine.
I'm sure I put in for it over with.
I just want to thank the county commission for, if you look around, the work that's been done here with the sheriff's trustee program. If you look around, you see the painting that's been done. We've moved Angie, the recorder's office, out from behind you where she used to be. She's back over here, what was the Lincoln County branch over here. You haven't had a chance to get in and check that out, get in and say hi to her. The drive-through window is back open for people to use for water bill payments and whatnot, and encourage people to use that as much as you can, so you're not having to get out and walk in. It's just there at your convenience. Also, for the trustees' help on the fixing up the fire hall, the first responders unit over here, they'll be doing some work on the county unit as well, and I'm sure some of the guys over here will have something to say about that. And then our post office, that was the first project they undertook. Some of you may or may not know, back last year, our post office got one of the worst ratings from the Postal Service as far as the appearance and functionality of it. And Mr. Gary and his crew came in and did a heck of a job over there, painted it, got it fixed up, got it looking nice. You know, unfortunately, our post office one got cut back to 6 hours, but that's better than the alternative of not having one at all. And you know, we thank the county and Sheriff Blackwelder and the trustee program, Mr. Gary, for all the work that they had put in here over the last 6, 7, 8 months. Saved us a ton of money on the labor, and hoping that we're going to be able to utilize them as well with our community center down here on High Street when we start working on that project as well. And starting to get some good money rolling in with that. If you're interested in donating to the community center, or if you know somebody that is, there is a fund available at First National Bank, either in Fayetteville, Park City, Lewisburg, Belfast, Pulaski, anywhere you want to go. If it's a First National branch of Pulaski, you can go in and say, I'd like to make a donation to the Petersburg Community Center, and they'll be more than glad to take it for you. And that board of trustees hopefully will be meeting sometime in the near future, start getting the ball rolling on our community center, and hopefully get it back up and going so that it's a place that people of Petersburg and the surrounding areas can come together and get together. That's all I've got. I know it probably sounds like enough, but see anything that maybe Kenneth, Ms. Barber, or Ms. Field next in line here. Appreciate y'all being here. I know it's a cold, rainy night. Appreciate y'all coming out and being here with us. And look forward to having something like this again in the future.
A while ago, I failed to say, I've forgotten about it, but you mentioned Murray. One reason he's not here tonight, they've got a meeting concerning a new jail. And that's one of the main reasons he's not here. And I do want to echo what John said about our aldermen. And I want to thank them, the town of Petersburg, greatly for letting us use their facilities like they have every time without being a problem. I want to thank all four of you and the other one that's not here too.
One thing Corey said about the trustees, if you don't know, there are inmates at the jail they go out, Mr. Gary is the leader of the pack, I guess. They do a great job. They work on county buildings, they work on anything. They don't work on private people's homes, public buildings, community centers, but they have saved the taxpayers of Lincoln County over $1 million. That's fact. So they do a good job, and it's good to
A
have
lot of
them.
good talent there, isn't it, John?
It is. There's some very talented folks out there. They go out and help Tim.
They redone the highway department when I first went in. Did a great job. And it's good for them if they get some training out of it too. So,
Corey, what are they going to do at the community center? What is the plan there?
The first plan of action is on the cafeteria. Well, the cafeteria at the elementary school, it's a flat roof. Mr. Gary, if you've never had a chance to talk to Mr. Gary, go spend 5 minutes with Mr. Gary. Because he looks at something and he says, here's what's got to be done, and he's not going to have any other way until it's done. And he says, first order of business there is get a pitch roof on that, where get some runoff, there's not water standing on that. Next order of business, get the electricity back in there, get the cafeteria up where it is suitable for, to be used. We could have some fundraisers in there. And of course, the big one is get the gymnasium back. The two, if you had to put a bullseye on it right now, the project right now is the cafeteria and the gymnasium. We can get that done. Hopefully we can start having some fundraisers there, get some money rolling in, and then maybe down in the future start working on some of the classrooms. But the main focus right now, number one, is on that cafeteria roof, getting it pitched where it gets some runoff, water's not standing there, it's not leaking. Get the cafeteria where it's able to be used, and then hopefully get the gymnasium where it can be used as well.
Who owns that?
There is a board of trustees that is over that right now. And, I've heard all my life, well, why did they let the community center run down? Well, first, let's recognize who they is. Like you all, you hear they all the time. Who is they? Well, they let it happen. When that was, through the years, that's just through board of trustees, and I'm not pointing a finger at anybody, okay? I'm not. But over the years, it's just been neglected, and the last group that had it, which was an outfit out of Mount Pleasant, of all places, the guy that had that wrestling over there, he just basically just walked away from it. And it was allowed to sit there and dilapidated, and nobody wanted to take responsibility for it. And finally, a group stood up and said, you know what? We'll take responsibility for it. Mr. Gray was a big help on that. John was a big help on that. And what's been a little over a year now ago, that group came in and said, if nobody else will, we're going to take the bull by the horns and try to get something going here. And I know the process is slow. It's been moving. Everybody wants to see it open yesterday. I understand that. But you got to understand what you got to work with over there. And you got to take the time with it, do it right, do it in a cost-effective manner. There's a pretty little chunk of money sitting there right now. Not enough to do everything that needs to be done, but we're going to get it there. When I say we, I'm not involved in it. The board of trustees. When I say we, I'm talking about collectively as a community. Okay.
Does it pay property tax? Does it owe?
No,
No.
that,
Go ahead.
If I-
You probably know as much more as I do about
what happened, and just like Ford said, the bunch over at Mount Pleasant, more or less, quit sending their $75, $175. They quit sending their charter money. When they done that, just like that state Tennessee computer put it from being a non-profit to being a profit. And at that time, they come back on with about $700 or $800 worth of taxes. Well, of course, we sort of panicked. So anyway, we got together and got that fixed. And at that time, we have to fix another charter. They've taken the charter down, got it fixed up, so they're ready to go right now.
It doesn't owe any tax.
But it don't owe. The taxes have been taken care of. It won't have any taxes, which will be a non-profit organization.
There's been a lot of questions about it, what's going on, where's the money, whatnot. I can tell you what little bit has been done over there, and I can tell you about the only thing that's been done over there is go over and patch some spots on the roof and private citizens that paid for that. I'm not gonna name them because they don't want to be named, they're not looking for it. Private citizens that paid for the materials out of their own pocket to do what work's been done over there. Mr. Gary Crew's been over and done some work, got a truck, been stuck nowhere for us. You know, one day we had to go pull them out, got the pleasure of doing that. But, you know, when there's an account set up, money is being taken care of, and we're ready to get the ball rolling. And if you've got any questions about it, come see me. I'll get you in touch with the board of trustees. You can direct any questions to them. Like I said, Mr. Grady knows plenty about it. John's been involved in it. If there's any questions, ask somebody. Don't, well, I heard this, I heard that, heard this, heard that. That doesn't cost anything. People are willing to talk to you about it, willing to explain to you.
Mr. Bowman?
I don't have anything to add. I'm listening tonight.
Darrell?
Well, you know, I've always done something. And this is it's sort of random order, but as far as the school is concerned, my kids go to union, as you can tell. And the other day, one of the roads had too much water on it, so the bus driver just skipped that part and went on with the route. Not completely, but picking the bus. Like us, we have to drive to Macburg Community Center because our farm is half in Lincoln County, half in Giles County. The bus won't come to my driveway. Won't go out of Lincoln County. There's no contingency plan for that. I mean, I just got my kids to the bus stop well in time for her to be there. She's been come. So there's no wait at the community center until 7 o'clock or anything like that. Now, the bus is there early enough to get the kids to school at 7 on the dot. That means my kids sit in the gym until 7:50. Nothing to do, no activities, and I let them go to their locker. I'll feed them breakfast at home for 50 minutes because they're there. Which, I mean, whatever about getting to school early. But there's no contingency plan at all should something happen with the buses. Now, I mean, not that it's anybody's business, but right now I'm bottle feeding sheep. I don't really have time or the inclination to wait on a bus that's already been there. And in fact, that day she got the kids to the school before the doors opened. And they had to wait for somebody to unlock the doors, and it's 28 degrees. So I called the bus barn, and the answer is, well, yeah, she should have done that.
What was the answer? Should have done that.
She should have done that. I agree. So we all agree. So what? So what happens next time there's a little bit of rain? So there's no contingency plan for bus situations like that. And I wasn't the only person that was here. There were 3 or 4 other people that were like, well, we're here on time with the bus. And then you sit there for 15 minutes thinking, well, maybe she's late because something's been happening. There's just no way to communicate. And then one time we had another issue where it was just a mix-up. My point is there's no contingency plan if anything goes wrong with the buses. Or if anything goes different with the buses. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. The other thing is I appreciate the email that you sent that talks about what goes on in the county commissioner meetings. We have conflicts sometimes we're not able to be there, so I appreciate that. The last one that you sent, you said that there's been $10,000 appropriated for an agreement between FPU and somebody
Lincoln County.
and Lincoln County.
Right.
So this is just 10 grand for them to.
Well, it's $5,000. Well, the way the committee recommended, it's $5,000 to draw it. It's a cheaper way out than letting the attorney do it. Letting the engineering firm do it instead. Estimated cost for the attorney to do it was around 10, 15, up to $20,000. It's $300. So it's the agreement between Lincoln County and Federal Public Utilities for the operation, the maintenance, and so forth of the sewer system in Southern California. I don't have all the info with me. gonna have to, I mean,
Oh, I know.
on who's gonna manage it, who's going to fix it when it breaks, what the responsibility of each party is.
Well, we won't go into my feelings about that whole thing in the southern part of the county, but I do want to understand that a little bit better. And I'd like to know what you three think about the charter government, where you stand on that.
Well, I'll tell you, it just depends on what it says. I mean, if it's taking rights away from the citizens to vote for the person that they like to vote for, then I'm against it. Anything that comes up, if it's going to take away rights from people,
I guess the best way for me to say what I thought about it or think about it is, I was told by CTAS and Jim Tracy just asked a question that should us in commission attend their meetings, and CTAS especially advised us to go to their meetings as they had them and find out what's going on or whatever. And Tim was there that night, and I'm going to try to answer it exactly like I did. I'll miss a few words on it. But they give Tim Hill as a road superintendent, and Jason McCormick is the 4th District Commission. Anyway, they give us a few minutes to tell what we thought about the forming the chart. My answer to them was that, just like I said to you all a while ago, I appreciate y'all coming and being interested enough to come shows that you do have some interest in the county. They show that they do have an interest in the county. Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate Pat and Derek and everybody here of showing interest in the county. But to tell you what I think about it is what I'm fixing to say now. I told them I think, and I know really every one of them personally, I said, I think every one of you all had got together and gone to your 3 commissioners and told us what you would like to have done, some of the things that you're upset about, brought them to us instead of forming your own deal. You would have helped yourself more and the county a lot more than doing a charter deal. That was my answer, and that's my answer to you.
I completely agree with what John said. I mean, anything that you do to take rights and voices from people, and and I'm no expert at charter government, but I already know it's cost the county a lot of money. I mean, what did it cost us? $50,000 we had to put up just for them to do that. And my thing I told, and they all called us, and I'm sure you guys got a lot of calls, but I just said, if you want to make a change, then instead of trying to change it yourself, run for office and place a vote and try to make some change that way, other than just, I guess, bullying your way in, I guess is my thing. And they're pretty dominant. My thoughts on them, I mean, they just kind of, they're real dominant when they come in and they voice their opinions, and they come to a lot of commission meetings, and they come and they'll sit out to the side. Instead of talking to us about what they disagree about, they sit out there and make perks and giggles and all that stuff, and just, we all try. And one person out of 24 is not going to change the other 23 people's minds. But if you come to all the committee meetings, which they should be coming to help understand the reason we're voting, and rather than just coming to the commission meeting, they should come to the committee meetings, which really involves that's why we have a committee, because those people specialize in those areas, and they inform and recommend the whole commission to vote. So instead of sitting there chuckling about the decision we've made or had to make for what's best for the county, I think that it'd be better off coming to a committee meeting where it's open. You can talk and communicate better. So I'm just, my personal opinion, I'm totally against it, but I mean, that's just on a personal level.
Is there a schedule of the committee meetings?
It's in
They're
the
all-
paper.
Every time in the paper, they sure are. And that would be good for you to come to, especially on the school board thing. I'm sure that sure can fix a lot of the problems that with any of the school stuff and any kind of person. I mean, like, I'm on the personnel and finance committees, and John's on the road committees, and we're on a lot of committees, and that's a lot of time, you know, and it's a really good time for people to voice their opinions.
Speaking of schools, that's my next question. You mentioned the shooter's drill. Is that going to involve students?
No,
And where would it be, where would it take place?
it's still in the works. Hasn't been decided. It hasn't been decided it's even going to be done, but it's just something that's been talked about. No, nothing has been decided. But that's one thing, that students will not be involved. That was the ground.
My next question is Pat, and that's, I want to go to, I guess it's a question. Your stance on gun control.
Well, I think we've got to look at it, but I'm a Second Amendment guy. I think we've got the right to carry guns. That's what the Constitution says, and I think that, I don't know why people need assault rifles. I don't need one, but I think that is a right. So I've still got to hear a lot of talk on it. It's probably not going to come up with us what the federal government's going to do, but there's already been, I've seen some legislation already being in the works to tell the federal government that we're going to control our own and don't be forcing anything on us that we don't want ourselves down here in Tennessee. And that's sort of the way I feel about it, is if we want to do it here, we need to do it in Tennessee, and they don't need to come here and tell us what to do.
The next question that I have, or the next issue, is the mandates that come down from the state on the county. Is there any possibility that some of those undone?
I certainly hope so.
When we talk, I'm sorry.
I certainly hope so. I mean,
When we talk about our county budget, I mean, I don't know what percentage, but a large percentage of it is simply mandated by the state. And truthfully, I don't really want Nashville running my county. That's just me, but I don't.
Well, I agree. I think the best government is local government, and in most of the committees that I'm in, if there's any mandates, they're pretty well killed as soon as they come up, because nobody wants them. I think some of the mandates that have come on are mandated through the federal government, that the state gets the money and gives the money out, but the mandate comes from Washington. And we're trying to, I don't know that I've seen a mandate since I've been there that passed.
From the state level.
From the state level. I mean,
Federal.
we're trying to do away with them as often as we can.
For the record, back to the gun control issue, I mean, I carry my copy of the Constitution in my glove box. It will not be a friendly day if the measures that I think Washington wants are implemented in this county. Not at all. Just so you know how your constituency feels.
I know how my constituents feel. I've been hearing it every day, and I agree with them. I don't know why people need assault rifles, but they got a right to carry them.
Well, I don't know why people need 3 or 4 cars for a Jaguar or a mansion in Nashville, but that's not the point. And
I agree.
the Constitution doesn't have anything to do with what someone else thinks I need.
You're exactly right.
So, just so you know how I feel about it, when you go to vote or do whatever you do to influence things and all that, I'm against it.
Appreciate it. One thing about the committee meeting, they're all advertised in the paper. Probably a couple, I think that's been advertised 2 weeks before. A lot of committees aren't on a regular schedule. Road committee, we meet the 4th Monday every month. And fire committee, they meet the 2nd Tuesday. But a lot of them are just whenever it's called. The budget meetings are the 1st Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock.
If they're regular meetings, they're not advertised necessarily. But if there's a special meeting, it has to be advertised. I know our road committee, we advertise it once a year.
Yeah.
And then,
So I missed that issue of the Oak Valley Times.
it's always, see, it's a regular schedule. You can call the courthouse and they can tell you when we meet. All committee meetings that meet on a regular basis.
Well, I get through Crossroads Puzzle when I'm done.
It's always the fourth.
Fourth Monday, yeah.
School board meets first Monday of every month at 7 o'clock.
I've been to a few meetings.
At the Stonebridge Learning Academy.
Right.
Okay.
Now, those, I understand how everybody's got internet access, all those posted on the county website as well, as when they meet, and what time they meet.
I haven't looked at the website.
We can pull a website up and look.
I sort of think it is. I think it's something.
I was thinking it was the last time I looked at it.
Thank you, sir.
That's been a week or two.
It's been a while on that. We've been joined by our Petersburg Mayor, James Gold. James, you got anything?
Not right offhand. I got called, well, I first got the text that it was going to be at 6 o'clock, and then I got one said it was going to be at 7. I just got done working a burglary, that's why I was running late out on Lynchburg Highway. Now, I think the biggest thing, people are really up in arms about the gun issue. And I think it's going to calm down just a little bit, because I don't think a lot of things that he's got going is not going to be pushed through. Assault weapons, I got one. I bought it just to have it. And I have shot deer with it before, which is legal. But your handguns, things like that, limited capacity on your magazines. There's going to be a lot of people out there that still got them. A lot of people, while they're talking, there's something about registering each gun you got. I think they're going to try to limit the ammunition you can buy, things like that. People have done buying up the ammunition, they're buying up all the magazines before it comes through. So I checked on getting some ammunition for the sheriff's department. I'm the firearms instructor there, and it's going to be slim and none.
You know, there's a rumor this week that Walmart was going to quit selling ammunition, but we found out today that was a hoax, that they just can't get it.
It's flying off the shelf as fast as they
Yeah.
can.
They're going to ration it. I think you can only buy 2 boxes per purchase or something like that.
We talked to GT distributors today. Just so happened we was talking to Larry down in Huntsville, and he was having quite a good business going on, and we ended up talking to a representative of GT Industries, which is supplies, ammunition, stuff like that. He thinks that he can get us what we're needing. So law enforcement's going to be covered, but it's about a 90-day waiting period to get it.
Gosh.
That just lets you know what's going on right now. That's about all I got. Everything else is running pretty good here, as you can see. We've had a lot of stuff done to the building here, the other buildings here in town. Mr. Gary, inmates that work with him's done all the work on it. The labor's been free. We've been spending money for what we have to buy, but like I said, the labor's been free. They're doing a good job. And we're trying to fix the town back up. That's kind of all I got.
Well, I saw in the latest edition of the Petersburg News, it has your picture on front every month. You look good in there.
Ain't that pretty?
Yeah. What
There's a
is,
bunch of people use it for a dartboard.
what is the plan over here on the Dr. Marsh's? I saw that in there. Is that moving along pretty good?
It's coming along good. We had some people that were still living there. Cole Blocker bought it, and as you see, he's leveled it out right there to the side of it. And he's going to redo the building and the archway that's there. He's going to redo that also there. But I think he said about the offices with it. Cole?
The Royal and the doctor's office is all, the way I understand from him, it's all going to be under one roof.
Yeah.
And that's actually about 3 parcels over right now. He's actually has closed the planning commission and intends to make that all one parcel. Where the department store was, is going to be the parking for it. But my understanding, he's got a tenant. He doesn't really want that known who it is yet. But there's a plan for somebody to be in there right now, tentatively. But as far as his ultimate plans of what's being there, he's pretty tight-lipped on it. so far. So, and then he's also got plans for over here on the east side next to the fire hall where he tore all those, he owns that as well, where all those buildings were torn down, I guess about 3 years ago now. And he's got plans to build those back up and put the, the historic fascia back on those just like the rest of the square as well, to make it match the rest of the square. So he's got some plans, but he's a private citizen. He's got money tied up in other investments in Huntsville that he's trying to sell them and get the money back out of that and reinvest it. And the reason it's moving slow is it's a private individual and he's funding it out of his pocket as he has the funds available to do it. So it's just, be patient. He's got a plan. The man knows what he's doing. And hasn't given me any reason to believe otherwise. So hopefully we'll see some progress over there. And as the mayor said, it's just a situation of the tenants that were in there and getting them moved to their new location so that he could get in there and start to do some renovation.
I think it's about a 3-month period in there that they overextended. When he expected them to be out, they were there about 3 months longer than what he had planned on being, and they finally got them out. And he started his work on it. Like Corey said, he's got some good ideas for it. If it works out like he's planning on, it's gonna be nice.
Pat mentioned about the Petersburg News. Forgot to mention earlier. We do a column every month in it, so I hope you get a copy of that and read it. Also, we have an email list. We send out emails every month, tell you what's going on. At a regular meeting, we usually send one out after it, maybe a couple of months. But if you want to be on that list, just get with me after the meeting and we'll get you on the list. Want you to be notified of what's going on. Sam, got anything? Stuart?
I just wanted to mention the LoSAP program that the fire department's got going. Make sure that everybody knew we were supporting it. We wanted to keep going.
What is it?
LoSAP, it's a length of service award program. It's kind of like a retirement program, except it's not based on an actual income because, volunteer. But you have to participate, you have to make points in certain categories, and you have to have an overall total of amount of points to qualify each year. And they put so much money in an account, and then 20 years later or 30 years later, we start drawing. That's not much, but we appreciate it. So
Who puts the money in the account? The county?
It started with a grant. I'm not sure if it was federal or state, but I couldn't get that information for you if you like it. But the county is supposed to take it over after, I think, 5 years.
It was a 4-year grant, and I think it was about $500,000. They put in so much each year, and if the county wants to continue the program, we can put money in it every year. And the folks, like I said, have to go to so many things, you have to do so much to stay in the program. You have to be in it so long. I think it's 20 years. Not only do that.
They have to be in it 10 of continuous service.
But the longer you're in it, the more you draw. And it's
We really appreciate it.
And it does encourage folks in fire and rescue to stay.
That's the biggest thing. That's why it was put in.
That's
so
the
that
first
they
thing
keep
that-
paying for training.
And that's been discussed a lot in the fire EMA committee, and I think it's going to be brought up at the budget meeting.
Hey, John, if you hear anything on that, let me know. If there's something I can do in Nashville, I'll ask about it. See if we can find out if there's any money to be had. I'll try to see where it is.
Yeah, it's a good program. We've got a lot of good firemen. Another thing I'll mention real quick is our house station down here is in need of some members. If you know anybody in that area that wants to become a fireman, and they're looking for some members for the house station. So,
I really just want to say thank you. Thank you. I know I have served on community center boards, and I've served on town council and first responders, fire department. Yeah, I really want to say thank you for taking the time. I know you have to leave your home and your family to come and do, and I know it's not just this one meeting. I know it seems like it's a never ending. I work in 13 counties in Middle Tennessee with Meals on Wheels, and I know that it takes a lot of juggling, and I do appreciate what you do.
First time to be at a meeting like this, I appreciate it. We've had an open forum. I had one clarification, a couple of questions. Representative Marsh, because you sort of alluded to, you didn't know why somebody needs an assault weapon. That kind of says you're sort of predisposed to saying, don't need it. What is an assault weapon? Surely it's not the way it looks. I hope that we'll get beyond that. Who assault weapons is no weapons anymore.
It's a semi-automatic weapon with a clip head.
Yeah, they're already over. So when we're talking about a ban, this gentleman over here has technically an assault weapon by the way the media describes it. But our politicians that want to impose more strict gun control describe it. That's not an assault weapon. The semi-auto, I got a 22, it's a semi-auto. So what? It's a squirrel. I can go kill somebody too. But if you make it to where semi-auto becomes subject to an assault weapon description, that's probably 50% of every weapon that's in this county.
What I would consider as an assault weapon is a friend of mine bought a Barrett 50 caliber. He's got it in his house in Bedford County. I mean, I don't know why he needs that. He didn't know why he needs it, but he wanted it. He got it. And that's his right, and I'm okay with that.
I mean, that's more.
But that's certainly
that's like a sniper weapon.
That's certainly an assault weapon.
And take a Barrett 50 and lay people down to that person. You're gonna be on the ground yourself.
Oh yeah, I know. I shot it, and I don't want any part of it. It scared me to death.
All I want to make certain is that we don't get caught up in a media hype and political hype, and we mislabel these weapons, and by mislabeling them, we then subject the population to having it removed. So that's wrong. Number two, when it comes to the school, you said the children will not be involved. So they're going to go like after hours? Is that the intent?
Again, this is in the planning stages. But what has been talked about doing it during the summer, talked about doing it in the county, talked about doing it at the high school. It's all in the talk stage now. But the situation, I mean, you've seen on TV, you know how to do this stuff, and that's what they're going to do. It's just a training exercise.
I've done this for over 20 years, so I'm well aware of it, because I didn't know it. And I would be opposed to it just in public view. They should have a mock shoot house, as we would call it. That's where they do practice. Those tactics belong to them. They shouldn't be exposed to the public for good reason. There's more than one thing for it. One is, if you're really that afraid that something's going to happen, that you need to have your SWAT team out training, you don't want bad guys observing you. You do that in private. That's why you have a mock shoot house. Secondly, I don't want the public to be exposed to things, because now what you do is you're hyping it up again. Oh, we got a problem. No, we don't. These are anomalies that cost 330 million people. Very much an anomaly. So I'm not high on that. They need a mock practice facility, that's different. But just to go out to the general public and do these things, no, I'm not for it.
It's going to be handled by the Sheriff's Department.
Would this be open to debate?
I have no idea. It's going to be handled by the Sheriff's Department. I'm sure that they'll have all the requirements that they need to as far as keeping the public away. You're not going to have any public there.
Well, my point to you would be this: if they are going to do a mock takedown of some terrorist I hope that there's some sort of open forum. That's what I would ask of you, to see if there is there an open forum where we can have this discussion, so it's not a public activity. Or it needs to be done private. It needs to be done secret in a way to where they're the ones monitoring themselves. That's what I would like to ask of you.
And what I would like to say to you is if, what's the 18 at the sheriff's SWAT team. SWAT team. If the SWAT team has an opportunity to practice what could be a real-life situation before they get in a real-life situation, I want them to do it.
I do too, to do that in a mock facility. You don't bring
It's
it
not
out
going to be in the public. Don't worry about that. I mean,
Well,
it's
it's a
going to
school
be.
building.
Huh?
If it's a school building, it's in the public.
There's not going to be any public there. I mean, if you got people running down the hall screaming and shooting blacks, you know, the public could go bonkers.
What I,
They won't be in there. It's going to be a controlled situation.
But I heard something this past week that there's been no children die in a fire in the last 10 or 20 years in a school. And the reason that they said, because they do have fire drills, they have
That's
practices,
different.
they have
That's
all those things to prepare them. So that's what I think you're saying. They're going to be prepared for what could happen.
Sir, I agree 100% on preparing, but you do that in mock facilities. That's where you practice that. What you do at the school is you have drills. But the drills don't have to say, we got a hunter-killer drill. You just say it's a code drill, like a code A, code Z, whatever. And you practice your drills, but you don't subject children to something like, oh, we got a mock terrorist. What, hold on.
There will be no children.
I already said that, I understand that. What I'm saying is, you have two different actions. The school doesn't need to do the drills, like fire, tornado, flood, whatever it may be. That's different. The only thing I don't like is taking SWAT activities public facilities. They need their own practice facility, and that's different. If you can do building clearing in a warehouse, it doesn't matter where you are. That's all I'm enforcing. And then the last statement I had was, what if, because you mentioned something about Governor Haslam looking at prospective budget cuts, depending on what actual cut is. I trust a budget cut is an actual reduction in expenditures, not a reduction in growth of expenditures.
Correct. If we get less money, we spend less money. That's what we got to do, because the federal government's not doing that. And
That's right.
They've got to start one of these days, and so we better be prepared, because it's going to hit sooner than later, I think.
That's all I want to know.
So it's got to be a cut.
Thank you.
And there's going to be a lot of crying and gnashing of teeth, because people have gotten used to spending this money that we really don't have, and it needs to be done gradually instead of all at once, too.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
I'd like to say, echo what you said. I think y'all are doing the right thing doing this. You're putting yourselves up for a lot of shots at times. You know, that's what that charter system, probably, you're right. If you got a complaint, you need to go talk about it, and maybe you can fix it in the traditional way. So I appreciate y'all doing this.
Pat, we appreciate
That's right.
your comments too, because without knowing how you might feel and the other, and Jim and everyone else, we wondered we just button the wall. And without all these people, and so we still wonder, are we just button the wall or not? But, I'd like to say this too, I really, really, really believe, I mean, just made would fix this whole nation if we would quit spending more than our income is. We put this thing down to where we'd all been in a different situation. And we can't keep borrowing and spending and spend ourselves out of debt. I've never been able to do it.
Well, this federal money I've been receiving on some of these NRCS, it's out there to get it, so we're getting it. It's money to me that could be used, you could get by with less, fixing it a different way, but you've got to fix it the way they want it fixed before you can get your money.
Right.
But I could fix it cheaper, doing a simple version.
Yeah, we've ruled and regulated ourselves
Right,
to death.
right. You gotta do it their way or you don't get their money. But I could fix it cheaper than what they want fixed. But that's just the way you gotta do it.
Sad that their money was my money, a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
And you know, if we don't use the money, somebody else is gonna apply for it and get
I
it.
get it.
I mean, but,
But is there a way that our state can advocate for change without?
not that I see.
Well, yeah, you can do it. I mean, that's what we need to do up there as state reps and senators. We need to listen to Tim, and if he says he can spend less money and fix it just as good, now that's probably a question mark.
Right,
A lot of
right.
people, when you're dealing with people, there's always people out there that try to take the easy and the cheap way out and not do it right. And that's what all these laws have been, take care of the people that didn't do it right. And Tim's doing it right, he's getting penalized by a guy that didn't do it right. And I see that all over. And I think if there's a way that we can change these things, I'm all for changing. I went up there to try to cut regulations and cut the mess that we didn't get into it overnight. We're not going to get out of it overnight. We got to change a little along. And I see that happening. And I think our governor's got a lot of common sense like that. And he's promoting business ideas to treat it like a business and don't spend more than you take in and listen to people around you and put great people around you that got a lot of sense. And he's doing that. And I can see good things happening. And I think Bredesen did a lot of that too. So it's just get some business people in there and know what to do.
Pass that law.
Huh?
Pass that law. Can't be a governor unless you're a businessman.
And if we could keep sending people up there to help out, one person can't do an awful lot. They make a difference for one person. So what we're gonna have to do is send people up there and up here that can do these type of things.
You know, and our Speaker of the House this year, she put in she wanted to limit the number of bills that we could run to 10. And we ended up, everybody was crying because they wanted more, ended up on 15, which I thought was okay, but I was fine with 10 because I think the less bills we have, the better off we're going to be. I read in the paper that we had a guy out of Memphis stand up and just raise Cain about that was not right, and they're limiting our government and all. I read in the paper that he did 158 bills last year. That's just, he did a bill for anybody that turned around, and half of them he didn't even bring to the committee. He had so many bills he couldn't do it. He's wasting our time and wasting our money.
How many, I didn't mean to cut you off. How many of those, of that 158 would be something like recognizing a certain type of grass or some kind of particular need to be recognized? You know what I'm saying?
He had bills, and 2 or 3 of them would be about the same thing. It was on the way you could tow cars away. I mean, it's just stuff that, and spend our time listening to all that. And I'm like, and everybody knew when he walked up there, you're going to vote against it. So he's just wasting our time. It's just,
Now, are these bills that get brought to the floor, or are they?
no, they get brought to, they get killed in the subcommittee
But
before
they're
they ever get to the
committee
committee.
time listening to it.
He probably didn't pass 5 of them, I'd say. But that's what's wrong. You got people, he's just doing it to show off is what he's doing, in my opinion. I didn't really like him, as you can tell.
Darrell, you was asking about the charter government a while ago. Of the counties in the state of Tennessee that is charter government right now, every one of them is metro. There's not a city-county government that's adopted that. Knoxville, Trousdale County. No, I don't think Davidson is under charter government. Shelby County. There's only like 4, and they're all metro. That has the charter style
Charles
government.
County,
They voted it down.
2 to 1 or?
2/3 vote, they voted it down. And this, I'm sorry.
What is the benefit? I mean, why would they exist?
Well, you know, I've been to a couple of their meetings and just to see what they're talking about, because like I say, well, I want to attend them so I know what's about and everything, because I don't know anything about it. But They can have term limits on any of the offices. There's several different ways it can be written up, but they've got to follow the state law where it applies. There's very little that they can really change from what I can understand, Gray, other than term limits and...
See, if I understand it right, I guess I should have answered them there that night if they asked us for the charter. Lincoln County had a charter. No, Lincoln County don't have a charter. They have to go by the Tennessee
County Code of Texas.
statutes.
Right.
They'll have to go by that too. Now they can put some, I think, if Pat might correct me if I'm wrong, they can put in what you might call a house rule, as long as it don't cross over the state sanitary laws. But they can't just go out here and draw them up a bunch of rules and regulations to go by if they're not within state rules and regulations.
They can make office appointed instead of elected. They can appoint the county mayor, appoint the road superintendent, even sheriff, I believe. And Tim said term limits. And reduce the number of commissioners.
Which, that could be done under our current form of government too.
Right.
Minimum of 9, maximum of 25.
Well, for what it's worth, I think that's part of the problem from my perspective is I do go to meetings, I do call you guys, I do read the newspaper, all that sort of thing. But the condescension that I feel when I go to the county meeting is crazy. I mean, it's like, when one of the commissioners actually stood up and said, I'm not even talking to those people, and waved his arm at me. I am those people whose money he was spending. I'm sorry, but that's just arrogant.
And that's why I say by the committee meetings, if you go to, and they really can't do it there because it's, it's pretty much open forum after, going to about like this. I mean, if you have a problem, and it can be very helpful. And a lot of the commissioners that don't want you to talk, we three would be here if we didn't want to hear, but a lot of them don't want, like their staff, they've been there a long time, they know all the rules, they have control.
Came up right after the property tax issue. And, the mayor's saying, the sheriff's here to take care of anybody that acts up or acts out. I mean, come on. That sort of thing leads to people wanting a different form of government.
Well, they have to have a certain order, in there. You can't have hecklers in the crowd
I agree. I totally
when you're
agree.
trying to do business. I could
Can
understand.
imply just opening up saying, all you reckless people out there,
Yeah.
I've got a sheriff here to take care of you.
Right, I
And I'm
understand that,
innocent
yeah.
until proven guilty.
I agree, and I guess probably what he was saying, the commissioner, just because there are some rules about getting up there. If you want to speak at the commission meeting, you have your commissioner recognize you anytime anybody wants to speak. One of the three of us will be glad to do it. And it has to be properly second, then you can get up and speak for 3 minutes? So by going to the committee meetings, you really can leave up pretty good, you talk. So for an extended
I
amount of
kind of
time.
wish somebody would rework the website, because if there's a calendar of events that has the meetings and so forth on it, I can't find it.
A lot of the committees that I'm on, or all the committees I'm on, are special call meetings. So almost every one of them's in the paper. The main ones that meet every time, the road, what else?
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement, which a lot of folks should go to that because that's dealing with the jail, and that's a lot of money, and it's a lot of big decisions. So anything you guys want to do about that would be the place to start and stop a lot of conversation.
You don't feel like what the committee's doing?
There's several things right now happening in the planning commission that everyone in here should know about. We've got some issues that we have been working on, and we've got some that's come forward that's certainly going to have to be addressed. that would be a good committee to, any of the good committees to go and sit in and listen, and you would find out what's going on in law enforcement, EMA, planning commission, whatever it might be.
Well, someone keeps minutes of all of these, right?
You have the secretary in front of
They're supposed to,
Check
you go to the courthouse and get a copy of it.
I go to the courthouse, I can't go to the internet. Dude, do you know where I live?
I do.
He knows where I live,
I don't.
out of his jurisdiction. You're right, it's not my problem.
How hard is it to scan
We have an awful lot of meetings, or some of us thought that we needed to have sort of a work time. And got the water department have a work session, get together and talk just like we do. We can't direct any business whatsoever, but we can get everything and let everybody have their input and get all our stuff ironed out. And when we come before the full body, there's not such a turmoil, and people don't get upset when they don't get to speak and so forth. So, but like Ben says, there's been an awful lot of them there that's been there for a lot of years, and it does double up your meetings. But it would also loosen up a lot of things too. And I guess I sort of got my back of my hand slapped, but we were in a meeting one night, and Miss Peggy says, you know, it was brought up as having a work session. Well, you know, that's too much trouble. It is a lot of trouble. It's another extra meeting for everybody. But, Dom and me, I had to pop out of, well, even Petersburg, and I feel like I'm as much a Petersburg as anybody. I've been here 73 years, born right out of this Petersburg. I've got enough right to say about Petersburg as anybody in here. I said, even Petersburg has a work session. And I'm not wrong on the whole. Petersburg sits down and has a work session and gets their stuff worked out. Then when they come to the meeting, they can do it in some kind of an order instead of a turmoil. But I do know also, and John and Ben and anybody else that's been a commissioner will know that it doubles up. A lot of meetings, we've already got a lot of meetings to go to, but it would stop a lot of turmoil. That's my
This will
purpose.
stop a lot of last minute decisions we have to make, whether it's buying a piece of property for $500,000 that we heard about 30 minutes before it, or, you know, we need to be able to talk and do what you want, because that, inevitably, that's what we're here for. So whether it's our decision or not, it's not really our decision, it's people's decision. The last minute things that we don't hear about, it's hard to do.
Well, has anyone else got anything they want to add to the meeting? No? Dick? Anybody?
I just want to thank everybody for being here.
I really thank you all.
We want to thank all y'all too.
We'll have another, if you got any questions, no one call, we'll have another one in, what, 3 months at, where?
I think we're ready to go.
That's right.
Appreciate y'all.
A motion we adjourn. You're welcome.